first and middle school, and our students prepared some questions for you. Okay, so they would like to know, how were you treated in the classroom by teachers and students, and also in the cafeteria where there were no guards?
You're absolutely correct, there were no guards in the cafeteria. And I sat at a table with my back to the wall so that I could see what was going on in front of me. But as far as the teachers and the students, it's like any society. You've got a group of kids that want to be welcoming. You've got a group that will harass you, and they're not the best students anyway, but they make things pretty bad for you. And then you've got that silent majority that would have probably been more receptive to us if it had not been so much adult intervention that was going on and was also allowing them to do some of these things. And those that were silent also, and those who wanted to be welcoming would have been harassed as well. In fact, some were. So, you know, the different dynamics that went on at that point in time, we recognized all of that, at least I did for a fact. So the teachers, the same way. It was a group that didn't want to teach us, but had to, or looked the other way if something was going on in the classroom. Then there were some disciplinarian type teachers who insisted on control, and they did do that. I want to give you an example of both. I had a Spanish teacher who should have retired before I got there. And she did that October. She just couldn't see herself teaching a black kid, I guess. And her son really was my best teacher that I had at Central, and he was my biology teacher. He had graduated from Central, gone to college, was in ROTC, had gone into the Korean War, had returned to Little Rock and became a teacher at his high school. And he treated me as I felt any teacher should have. He called on me like he called on others. He encouraged me to participate in certain things, in science fairs and so forth, and he was protective. And what was interesting to me is that he grew up at his mother's table, but he had seen the world and knew what he took the best from his mother and let the rest of that go. And there he was treating me as he saw the rest of the world treating people. So that's the message I got from that.
Thank you. Did any of the people who harassed you ever apologize later on for their behavior?
I've never had what you call direct apologies, other than we were on the Oprah Winfrey Show in the late 80s, and Oprah has a way of finding some of these people. And we didn't know that there were going to be, you know, some others there in the audience. And one in particular who had been involved in a chili incident apologized to Minnie Jean Brown, who the chili got dumped on her. And she got suspended, he didn't, okay? But the point is that he did ask for an apology, and he wanted to come up on the stage and give us a hug. So that did take place.
That's wonderful. Okay, I'll have one more here, and then I'll share the mic here. I think you answered that. I was going to ask, were there white students who stood up and supported you, and if they did so, what were their ramifications against
Well,
you?
like I said, those who did also were harassed. One in particular was a senior who, I was a junior, and I noticed, I'm not a junior, I was a sophomore, and she was a senior, and she was very popular in the school. And she would smile at me as I walked down the hall. But, you know, seniors don't speak to sophomores today. So, you know, I didn't expect that kind of interaction anyway. But she was also, she would come to this chapel, and that's where the 9 of us, not all 9 of us, but some of us would go those first 15 minutes of downtime before school would start. And it was a safe environment. And we connected probably 35 years later. She lived in Evergreen, Colorado. I lived in Denver, Colorado. And we started having lunch together once every couple of months. And she explained to me that her grandfather wanted her parents to take her out of the school. And I said, well, how did that all work? And she said, well, I used the Bible against it, his thought process. And, you know, and I said, well, how was that? And she said, well, you know, he was always quoting things from the Bible. And I asked him, how could he do that and still say that I shouldn't be going to school with black kids? And we had a black maid. He said that he loved her and he took care of all of us and so forth. And he said, suppose one of her grandchildren were one of the 9 kids. You still wouldn't want me to go to school with him? So that's how she got him to change his mind.
Wow.
So, or at least change it for the moment, if nothing else.